And we're live. Hi guys, happy Friday. Thank you for coming to yet another one of these live streams that I'm doing every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I appreciate you being here. Today is excited. We're going to talk about something that Palantir offer, a platform, a product, a program, probably more program, that they have that I think is completely underrated. And I really don't think that people know about this really, and it definitely doesn't get spoken about enough. Of course, if you haven't already guessed, that is FedStart. So let me just back up. Palantir are one of just 3 companies in the entire world with Department of Defense Impact Level 6 clearance. They are one of 3 alongside Amazon and Microsoft, which is absolutely crazy because Palantir are actually a very small company compared to Amazon and Microsoft, who are, of course, massive, mega cap companies, like really, really big. So the fact that Palantir have been given the same level of accreditation as those two, to me, is a real stamp of trust and recognition by the US government. So just to give you some idea, Impact Level 6 clearance, IL6, is the highest level of security clearance that can be granted to a cloud service provider. The highest. Palantir have that. And it basically means that that service, Palantir service, has been certified and cleared to handle the most sensitive government data. So, of course, as you can imagine, this includes the most classified and confidential information. Like I said, Palantir are one of only 3. This then means that Palantir have undergone a process and a journey to be able to meet the rigorous security and compliance standards and are now authorized with that clearance to work with the US government entities for very sensitive work. That is quite a big deal. And as far as I'm aware, what that basically means is the Department of Defense, DOD, maintains like a cloud service catalog. So I imagine that's a bit like a list. And that list has all of the companies, all of the services that have been granted this highest level of clearance. That just then makes it easier for potential user groups to pick the already vetted products that they want to work with. So that's quite a big deal. Alongside this IL impact level accreditation, there is also another framework called FedRAMP. So just remember those 2 things, impact level IL and FedRAMP. Those are the things that organizations need to have the accreditation to be able to work with the US government. So this is where we now start talking about FedStart. Palantir are basically using their unfair advantage because they already have this accreditation, if you will, using their unfair advantage, take that as you will. And they have created a FedStart program. What this does, what FedStart is it creates a pathway for those non-IL certified businesses. And it allows those businesses to provide their software solutions to the US government. And actually, a lot of businesses, whether it be a startup company or, a company that's been going a lot longer, they actually do want to work with the US government because, well, one of 2 reasons, I guess, or both. Firstly, they think that they have a piece of software, a solution that will be useful for the government. And secondly, obviously, working with a massive, massive organization such as the US government is a big deal in terms of revenue as well. So they want that. The problem, however, is that it's really hard to actually offer your solution, your software solution, to the US government and government entities. It is not a simple case of filling in a form, sending it off, letting the government have a quick go at your software, and then, you form a partnership and you work together. Not like that at all. It takes a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of stress and difficulty. Just to give you an idea, on average, for a business to actually get the FedRAMP and the IL5 accreditation that they need, on average, it takes 18 months. 18 months. And you can imagine how long that is for a company in its startup stages, whereby things are moving very, very quickly. And that 18 months is only once the application is so-called in progress and a sponsor has been found. And a sponsor is needed actually for the accreditation. So a long time. Alongside the time is money, right? It costs on average, again, $1 million for a company. $1 million. Again, think how big a deal that sort of money is, especially for a startup. They are not going to have that sort of money to spend on this. $1 million is only for consultants and auditors alone. That doesn't even include any engineering or opportunity costs for actually building and documenting their entire cloud environment that would be needed. Very, very costly. So businesses can either get to work with the US government by doing it independently, spending the time and the money, and it's very, very stressful and difficult, or they can turn to Palantir and they can work with Palantir's, they can partner with Palantir's FedStart program. Why is this so useful to businesses? Well, it saves them time and it saves them money and difficulty, stress. Time and money especially are very, very valuable to everyone, but especially companies. Also, if they were to do it independently, they would be spending a lot of money and pulling their resources off of important projects that they may be able to generate growth and revenue from, and actually putting those resources into getting this accreditation that actually then may not end up as being anything. So it could very much be wasted time and money. However, FedStart offer a fast track. So they cut the time down a lot. And we'll see about this in a minute as well. I'll share some resources and we're going to watch a video at the end too, which is very interesting. So they cut down the time. That's great. They also allow businesses to step back and not actually have to get their hands dirty, and they can stop the stress. That's another real benefit here. So they speed it up to mean that they get their software to US government agencies faster, and it costs a lot less. So it is very, very clear from a FedStart customer's point of view as to how this is so beneficial. But you're probably then thinking, okay, well, it's obviously great for customers. They would get their software in front of the US government quicker, cheaper, easier. Great. But how does this benefit Palantir? Because as Palantir investors, that's kind of what we care about, isn't it? We care about their customers because that's good for Palantir, but we care about how this benefits Palantir. You might be thinking that actually it's really time consuming and costly and not a great use of Palantir's time to be helping other people get in front of the US government. Actually, it's really, really beneficial. And this is why I think it's so underrated. It's a brand new market that Palantir are opening up. So firstly, they are embedding their technology into government systems. That means Palantir themselves are positioning themselves as an indispensable partner for the US government. That is obviously great. Aside from that, you've got to think that Palantir have already gone through this lengthy accreditation process, and now they have the best clearance that anyone can get. As we spoke about, the only 3 companies with IL6. So they have already done the hard work to get them where they are. They already have the platforms in place. So what they can now do is basically print free money. It's kind of crazy. They've got everything in place. They don't need to do anything really upfront. They just need to now use what they've already got and help other businesses fast track the process. Here's where it gets really interesting for Palantir, in my opinion. As far as I understand, and there is a white paper that you can download on Palantir's website about this, and you can we'll watch a video in a minute about it too. And you can read, obviously, documentation on this. As far as I understand, they charge businesses, FedStart clients, a one-up front fee. But then what they do on top of that is they charge a recurring usage-based fee. That means two things. Firstly, for the client, it's more transparent. It's a more honest and flexible way of them paying Palantir, which is great. They'll like that. But for Palantir, this is recurring revenue. Pretty much free recurring revenue. And as this scales and as this grows, that is going to be very, very positive, in my opinion. Okay, so we've got the embedding into the US government. We've got the revenue side of it. Two more things, how I think this is going to benefit Palantir. Firstly, alongside working with the potential partners and the partners of FedStart, with FedStart, what they're going to be able to do is they're going to be able to build relationships and connections. That then means, if they're smart, that they can use FedStart as a sales funnel. They can upsell their other offerings, AIP, whatever it may be, to the FedStart customers and actually switch them into customers elsewhere in the business. That's quite cool, because a lot of the clients of FedStart, I imagine, are going to be startup companies. They're going to be companies that are looking to actually integrate AI into their business and utilize data more effectively. So Palantir are positioned to perfectly help them. So they'll get that direct sales funnel through this scheme. And then leading on from that is the fact that actually they have a real competitive moat. To get to the point where you can offer a program like FedStart, it's very lengthy, time-consuming, and costly, like we discussed. That's why these customers want to work with FedStart. Palantir have been through that, and not many other businesses are going to be willing and able to do that. That means when organizations are actually looking to who can help them, Palantir are going to be one of the only, unless other companies start doing this. I don't think they will. It's too expensive. It's too time consuming. So they have the competitive moat as well. And this will grow. So let's just have a look. Let me share my screen here. So in the Q3 earnings, Palantir actually spent 2 whole slides talking about FedStart. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, 2 whole slides, but actually there weren't that many slides, and to spend a whole 2 just on FedStart means that they are growing this. It means that they are excited about it, and it means that they see the potential, because at the end of the day, they're behind the scenes. They know the demand for this and the revenue and the margins and everything like that way more than we do. So let me share this screen here. Okay, you should be able to see this, but I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more. Okay. So this is from the Q3 earnings. This is the presentation that comes alongside the earnings. So here we are. This is the first slide here. FedStart transforms the usual 18-month, 2 million accreditation process into something that can be done in as little as 6 weeks at a fraction of the cost. Unfortunately, at this point in time, we don't know how much Palantir are charging for this FedStart program. It hasn't been put out to the public. We will, however, get information on this, I imagine, as time goes on and more earnings come out and we get just more information about FedStart in general. I think, though, that they might actually be, well, they're doing it by usage base, aren't they? So it will completely change client to client. But I'd like to know just overall how much they're making from this. Early days still, this is scaling. So they are able to take these businesses from 18 months to 6 weeks. Businesses that are in their startup stages that are very much trying to grow, even if they're not startup companies, they will be jumping on this. 6 weeks, that is a big saving. And we can see here, we are proud to welcome our newest 9 FedStart partners. And you can see some big names here as well. This is cool because it wasn't that long ago that they were way fewer. And I think at this point in time now, considering Q3 was a little while ago, it feels like a lifetime ago, it's scaling, it's growing, it's in demand. I don't know. It's difficult because obviously when we look at the commercial side of Palantir, we can very much see how they are advertising, how they are scaling, how in demand it is. Whereas this is a little bit more, it feels a little bit more behind the scenes and we just know less. So then we go down to this slide here. This is Mark. I don't know Mark. This is Mark though. And he said at Palantir's Software for Government Summit, shared how Primer AI is, that's one of the companies that work with FedStart, is reshaping defense with AI solutions, overcoming access and accreditation challenges through Palantir's FedStart program. This might be really small for you guys. He said, Palantir's FedStart program gave us that one-stop shop and an economically viable platform to FedRAMP High. FedRAMP is one of those accreditations. FedStart and FedRAMP, it's really annoying that they've named it like that because it's so easy to say the wrong one. This is a game changer initiative for companies like ours. There it is. He's said it himself. I think that this is going to be a big deal for many companies. And I'm really excited just to see how this scales. So let's just quickly watch a video. It's 4 minutes. It's not very long. I think it only came out the other day from Palantir themselves explaining FedStart. It will give you a little bit more of an insight. Then we will have a look at how Palantir stock looks to be today, and then we'll jump into comments. So let me go over to here. I am hoping that you hear this okay. If you don't, let me know and we'll have to, I'll just share the link and you guys can watch it whenever. So let's just go back here. You guys are saying that you can't hear that. Typical, isn't it? Let me figure this out. I see some questions. Let me just put this on the screen here. Ethan, is it too late to buy loads of shares? Guys, let Ethan know what you think, whether you think it is too late to actually purchase shares of Palantir or is now still very, very early whilst I figure this out. Okay, it should now work, I believe. Let's try again. If this doesn't work, we'll skip this. I'll leave it as a link and we'll move on to some questions. Hopefully.
The U.S. government is hungry for new and innovative technology. The opportunities for startups and established companies alike to deliver cloud-based solutions to federal customers are large and growing rapidly. Whether your company works in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, process automation, or any other category, chances are there are civilian and defense agencies that need and want your products. If you want to deliver your technology as a software as a service, or SaaS, to the U.S. government, the first hurdle you have to overcome is getting FedRAMP or impact level accreditation. FedRAMP will enable you to serve civilian agencies, such as the Departments of Agriculture and Treasury. An impact level accreditation will open up the Department of Defense market. We are excited to introduce Palantir FedStart, a solution that helps technology companies launch into the federal government market by dramatically reducing technical barriers to entry, specifically these accreditation hurdles. These credentials come with significant challenges, however, limiting the ability of innovative companies to rapidly deliver solutions to the federal government. For small or commercially focused businesses, this can create a massive chicken or the egg problem. Do we invest in accreditation now in the hope that we will have government customers 18 months in the future? Or do we wait until we have the customer interest and then hope they remain engaged as we make it through the lengthy accreditation process? This is why many companies choose to delay entry or forego the federal market altogether, missing out on a multi-billion-dollar software market and denying the government access to potentially game-changing technology. FedStart is designed to eliminate this dilemma. By partnering with Palantir, companies can shorten time to accreditation to 3 months or less and move costs to a consumption-based pricing model that scales with your business. You can start your federal journey today with confidence that you will be able to serve your customers on their timeline. Let's look at how FedStart works. Solution providers deploy their existing containerized applications into Palantir's already accredited FedStart environment using open source standards such as Helm charts. The FedStart Kubernetes infrastructure, which runs on top of AWS GovCloud and Azure Government, manages FIPS validated encryption, logging, authentication, vulnerability scanning, and more, so that you don't have to. Initial partners have estimated the level of effort to integrate their technology into the FedStart environment to be only a couple of months at most. Palantir manages the detailed administrative work of receiving and retaining accreditation, handling conversations with government accreditation authorities, producing compliance artifacts, performing continuous monitoring, and managing control assessments. Companies monitor and update their deployed and accredited applications with only 1 or 2 US persons, rather than having to hire an entire dedicated team. Partners pay a monthly cost based on consumption, just as they would if they were buying directly from a traditional infrastructure provider. We also look for opportunities to highlight our FedStart partners, listing them in our online FedStart marketplace and in the government's FedRAMP marketplace, helping with discoverability. Palantir also hosts periodic events with dedicated programming for FedStart partners and your potential US government customers. Palantir has supported complex and sensitive government missions for over 2 decades. And along the way, we have gained a ton of experience navigating the complexities of the accreditation process. Today, we have over 50 authorizations to operate, or ATOs, across agencies in the US government, including FedRAMP Moderate, DoD IL5, and DoD IL6. Take advantage of our experience with FedStart so that you can focus on what your company does best, delivering unique capabilities that can help the government become more effective, efficient, and successful. We can't wait to help you get started. For more information or to inquire about getting started with FedStart, please email.
What did you guys think of that video? I think it's cool to see that they're actually starting to talk about this more. Like I said, they included those 2 slides in Q3 earnings presentation. Now they've got a video. It seems like they are growing this and they're getting more and more partners. I think it's going to be quite substantial in the future. I saw a comment, where is it here? I can't see it now, talking about how big this will be for the revenue side of Palantir. I don't know if it will ever be as big as the other revenue streams, but I think it's still early days. And I think that they are providing a real solution, real value to a problem that many, many companies have. And it's a solution that not many others are offering. So it should be good. That video spoke about how Palantir obviously helped get the accreditation, but how they actually do that. With getting this accreditation, you have to go to certain meetings and do lots of documentation, really, really time-consuming stuff. When a partner works with FedStart, with Palantir, they don't have to do any of that. Palantir take over all of those meetings. They take over all of the documentation, the monitoring, the constant monitoring. So they do it all. So it's really, really valuable. What we're going to do now is quickly have a look at the Palantir stock, and then we're going to jump over into some questions and how you guys are feeling about Palantir in general, whatever. So let's just have a look. Have a look here. Did you guys think that the stock would move quite a lot yesterday, or did you think that we would see it reduce? Let me zoom in. Okay, so it looks like pre-market, it's 125 here where I am in the UK. So market should be opening fairly soon, about just over an hour. Pre-market is up by 0.96%. It looks like it's going to be hovering under that, just under that $20 per share mark. Like I said in yesterday's live, it seems to be that $20 is the resistance level. We need to, well, depending on how you want to look at this, break through that and then stay above that. I personally, obviously I want Palantir to do really well, but I just want to be accumulating as many shares as cheap as possible right now. So I don't mind too much if it doesn't break that $20 yet and it stays under. But that's just me being a bit selfish. If we look across the last 5 days, it's been a bit all over the place, as we always see with Palantir. We had a little bit of a drop here and then it sort of rebounded ever so slightly. We'll have to see what happens today. I don't know. Maybe it will drop back down below 19. Maybe it will go back up to 20. I guess there's no real knowing, is there? But it's I definitely can't keep my eyes off Palantir stock when the market opens, even though I am dollar cost averaging in either way. I'm just buying more if it does drop by a substantial amount. Yeah, so let's have a look what you guys are saying. Thank you. I get a lot of comments about my accent. I guess it's because most people that follow Palantir and Tesla, which are the two companies that I speak about, are American or they're not British. So I guess people aren't really used to the British accent. No news on the NHS deal. Actually, there's no news in terms of it's not been announced, but there has been a new document released, and I've got a whole video coming out about that at 7 p.m. UK time tonight. It's interesting. It seems like the NHS are trying to educate people ready for the announcement. So check that one out later tonight. But no, we don't unfortunately have any information that confirms Palantir. Yeah, we did have some selling. No, I'm not a bot. Yeah, I think this is the case for a lot of people, actually. FedStart is not spoken about. It's kind of confusing when you actually read about what they do during the FedStart program. It's a lot of technical information, but it's interesting. And my favorite word now is Kubernetes, which is part of FedStart. Would love to see the income from FedStart, high margin, how much time and manpower does it cost Palantir? Me too. Unfortunately, we just don't have that information at all yet. We don't really know. We just don't really know what it actually is going to be in terms of the cost. I think it will be very high margin. I think that there's not probably going to be as much time and effort up front as we think from Palantir, but I don't know. But it's going to be good. From the revenue point of view, reoccurring revenue, high margins, that's going to be good. AIP not monetized yet. When do you guys, I know predictions are obviously never guaranteed, but when do you think that they will monetize AIP? Do you think it's going to be like next year? Do you think it's going to be maybe the end of this year? Do you think that we're going to hear about it in 2025? At this rate, we're going to hear about the NHS contract in 2030. Yeah, I'm using StreamYard whilst I get the free option, and then I'll have to think about buying it, I think, because I'm going to keep doing these live streams Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What happened to your pivot from dividends to growth? Nothing happened. I just spend a lot of time researching Palantir and Tesla. So that is naturally what I'm consuming the most of, therefore what I'm speaking about the most on this channel. I still have some dividend positions in my portfolio. However, number one, I have Tesla. Number two, I have Palantir. And then I have an S&P 500 ETF, which does pay a dividend. Here's a question, a good question for everyone in the chat. Would you rather have $10,000 in Palantir or in Tesla? I'm guessing the fact that you're watching this live about Palantir, most people are going to answer Palantir, but answer this question. That's interesting. I just got a notification that Brian has become a legend member. So thank you for joining my memberships. That's really, really exciting. What a legend. Ah, here's Brian. Byron, sorry, I said Brian. Byron. Thank you. Yeah, I wonder what Palantir stock's gonna do today. I did add some yesterday, more shares, but I would quite like to add some more today if it does drop. If it doesn't drop, then I'm just gonna continue to dollar cost average in, and I'll buy again next week. I've received this comment a lot recently. I'm going to probably make a whole video about this rather than getting into it now. We're going to start wrapping up this live in just a minute. Yes, I can, Amy. Absolutely. Let me do that now. Here is the link. So this is the link to the video that we watched during this live. There you go. It's just sending. If you want to check out that video, there it is. I have, like I said, a video talking about the new document that's come out regarding the FDP NHS Palantir deal tonight at 7 p.m. So please watch that and let me know what you think and what you think this means for Palantir getting that deal going forward. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that comes to these lives, that leaves comments, that watches the video, that subs to the channel, becomes a member, becomes a patron, whatever. However you support this channel, it means a lot to me. So honestly, thank you so much. I hope this was interesting and valuable and insightful about FedStart, because I do think it's one of the areas of Palantir that people don't really talk about. They don't really know. And it's, in my opinion, so underrated. So underrated. And we're only just seeing the start of it, like we are with AIP. Very, very exciting. So thank you for coming, guys. Have a good rest of your Friday. A fantastic weekend. And I'll see you in the next live on Monday. I've got a video coming out tonight, a video coming out Sunday, but I'll be back live on Monday again, 1 p.m. UK time. Have a good weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.